Business on Purpose podcast.
I was a deep snapper in college, but I wasn't a quarterback. And I wasn't a receiver, I wasn't a defensive end, I wasn't a linebacker, I wasn't a tailback or a safety. I just snapped the ball, threw it upside down, backwards, 15 yards, about 6 to 10 times a game. Hey, it's Scott Beebe with the Business on Purpose podcast, and it is time for you to be liberated from the chaos of working in your business. And if you're a heroic small business owner, I just want to tell you before we get started into this, thank you very much. I so appreciate what you do. I value what you do, and I appreciate what you're building. And if you are in chaos, I invite you to reach out. Let us know how we can serve you. MyBusinessOnPurpose.com. And if you want to get started right away on an exercise that we provide completely for free, MyBusinessOnPurpose.com/vision. That's right, /vision. And you can get started writing your vision story right there. I was a deep snapper in college. I was not a highly trained deep snapper. In fact, I only played 1 year high school football. If you go back to episode 60, actually, because that was my college number, now I remember it. I believe it was episode 60. I actually walked through my story a little bit, so you can go listen to that if you're so inclined and if that would intrigue you. But what I said at the outset of the podcast is I was not a quarterback or any other position on the field. Now, in large part because I didn't have the skill to play that position. There's a second part of this that could have held true. Would I have had the energy? Would I have been excited about playing that position? Maybe so. I'll be honest, I don't know that I would have been that excited about playing cornerback or safety, wide receiver, slot back. I'm just not fast. Well, now that I think about it, I'm not that strong. Now that I think about it even more, I'm not super athletic all around, but I could snap a football. Today, I had a conversation with a dear friend of mine. We do some partnering together and some coaching that we provide a certain segment in the architectural space. And my buddy and I were talking about just marketing and what that looks like and what that looks like for Business on Purpose, what it looks like for his business. And we recently, last few weeks, we ran kind of a test. We did a webinar, a masterclass, which I love. I love teaching. I think you could probably tell from this podcast, it's something that I get energy from, I get fired up about. I really enjoy it whenever I'm on a group coaching call. I'm all in. Don't ask me how, but yesterday on our architects call, I talked about Post Malone, the rapper, rapping Itsy Bitsy Spider, and we got a laugh and had some fun with that. And they laughed, architects laughed about it, and I enjoy that. But man, when it comes to marketing, it's like a blanket of clouds on my soul. I just don't enjoy it. I appreciate the discipline. I realize the importance, the priority of marketing. It's so crucial. It's such a gift. It's a real opportunity in our world to be able to storytell so well in such a way that you storytell to new people. And really, marketing is about gathering crowds, even more than telling story, or at least telling interesting stories to gather crowds. I find myself more of a guy that likes to share stories and influence crowds that are already gathered. So you might say, well, Scott, you can't have it both ways. I mean, you got to start by gathering crowds. No, I get that. And it's been one of my greatest frustrations, quite honestly, about being a business owner, is somehow you've got to develop a system or a process to attract crowds around stories. And I just struggle with it because it's a patient, long tail game where teaching I can get influence and impact almost immediately. So I'm just giving you a little insight into my mind and into the things that energize me and the things that don't energize me. But here's the point. In college, all I did was long snap. There were other people that played other roles that had better skill than I did at those roles, and frankly were more energized around those roles than I would have been. It's not that it would have sucked the life out of me, but I just wouldn't have been as excited because those are some of the things. I got to play some of those roles on scout team, by the way. So I got to see a little insight into what it was like to run at linebacker, what it was like to run at defensive end. And it was okay the first couple of times, but where I really thrived was snapping a football because I had competency, I had a lot of training, I knew the nuances, the ins and outs, the calls to make. And so I played deep snapper. In our business right now, I'm trying to figure out what are the roles that I need to get out of, and then in getting out of those, what do I need to do in order to be able to generate the revenue to compensate other people to be able to play those roles. I want to challenge you where you're at. This is a very candid podcast from me to you. I want to challenge you where you're at. What's your long snapper role? What is that role that you're uniquely qualified to play in your business? Will you have to play wide receiver a little bit? Yes. Will you have to play slot receiver, quarterback, cornerback, linebacker, defensive? Yeah. Starting out, yes. But how fast can you find another skilled athlete to be able to play that role for you in your business? So not only you give somebody else the shot to do that, that's within their narrow brilliance, within their skill set and their scope, but also, more importantly, so it buys you the time to focus more on that narrow skill set, that narrow brilliance that you have. Guys, I hadn't figured it out completely yet. That's why I wanted to be honest and open with you about this, but we're actively working on it, trying our best to be able to do it. And I want to encourage you to do the same. Again, if you want to get started with an action activity, mybusinessonpurpose.com/vision, and we will always see you right here next time on the Business on Purpose podcast.